He destroyed the Varnashram system. So this started at that time when this thought occurred. Actually, Parikshit was not to blame for that because it was the arrangement of the Lord only. He was just an instrument. And waiting for some time and very thirsty and having no other place, he shouted. And while he was leaving outside, he saw on the right hand side of the door there was a dead snake which was lying there. So he picked up the dead snake, he came inside and put the snake in the neck of the sage. Because you have given me a cold reception, that is why let a cold snake be on your neck. And when he left, Shamika Rishi still was in deep meditation. He did not know who had come and gone. But unfortunately, Shamika Rishi's son, he was a little bit of a spoiled child. Means he was playing with his friends, very angry child. But he had Brahma Tejas. By Brahmana, being son of a Brahmana, he could curse. He had lived a pure life. So he was playing with children. And suddenly he heard one person came running. This king, he has put a snake on your father's neck. So the boy became very angry. His name was Shringi. He said, just see this king. He is eating the remnants of the food of my father. My father is maintaining. My father is a Brahmana. By the power of his Brahmanical knowledge, the king is able to rule the country. And now he is coming and insulting my father. Can the dog enter the cottage of the owner and order the owner, please dine with me? Please eat with me? Cannot do that. What right he had to force my father to do anything? After Krishna has left, these upstarts have taken up the whole world and now they are insulting the Brahmanas. And he became so angry on Parikshit. And he went to the nearby Kaushika river and he touched the water. He went to the river and all his friends, they followed him. And he touched the water. And he gave the curse to Maharaj Parikshit. On the day 7 from today, the king of all snakes, his name is Takshaka. He will come personally and he will destroy Parikshit Maharaj. Because he has broken the etiquette about how to respect my father. So at that time, Kali started laughing. My last obstacle, Parikshit, is also gone. Now I can come with full force. And all the people of Kali Yuga will become my victims. But Parikshit, when he was riding back, he was wondering some very bad thing is going to befall me. Because how can I do this? I never can get angry. I never would have put the snake on his neck. What overcame me? For this sinful act, I should be punished. All my kingdom should be taken away from me. He was thinking like that. He knew something very inauspicious is going to happen because he has broken the code of proper conduct. And when he reached, when the Shringi cursed, and then he came back to his father. He came to his father and seeing his father and the snake on his neck, and already he was very sad that he had cursed. He understood that he had made a mistake later. Sometimes when we are angry, we do something, later we realize, oh, it was a mistake. Big mistake. So he started crying loudly. So Shamika Rishi woke up from his trance. He came out. He said, what happened? He's putting on his lap and he told the whole story. I have cursed Parikshit, the king of the world. And Shamika Rishi said, my dear son, you have done a very sinful act. The king is the maintainer of all millions of people. And for putting a dead snake on my neck, he did not deserve death. It is a very small crime. You have done a very wrong thing. He started praying. He started praying to the Lord to forgive his son. And he said that the Lord, Parikshit being a great devotee of Krishna, the Lord will never forgive you, Shringi. It is very, very difficult. So meanwhile, Parikshit reached home, and Parikshit could have gone back, and he could have begged forgiveness from Shamika Rishi, but Parikshit did not go because Parikshit thought that I don't want to embarrass the sage even more. Already the sage is very embarrassed because of his son. If I go and ask forgiveness, maybe if Parikshit would have gone and asked forgiveness, the sage could have taken back the curse or neutralized the curse in some way. But Parikshit did not go back. You know why? So Parikshit said, this is a very good chance. In 7 days I can intensify my devotion. I am already so much attached to my kingdom, I would have never thought of leaving it anyway. But now, because I have got this curse of death, it is a good chance that I leave the kingdom, and I try to find out that what is the duty of the human being who has 7 days to live. What is the duty of that human being? Should he enjoy more? If you have 7 days to live, what will you do? Shall you work overtime and get more money? Enjoy your 7 days. Use up all the money so that nothing is left for my children. I mean, we can think of so many plans. I mean, there was recently a threat of war in one country, and all the people of this country, we thought there's a war, now we are going to die, let us enjoy more sex. So the sex life increased. Let us spend more money, and people were buying more in the market and enjoying. Very unfortunate, they have no knowledge of the Vedic culture, that when the time, when there is fear and when the time is less, one should make the most out of it, and the most important thing is life is what? Bhakti. The most important thing in life is to ensure that the next life you don't become an animal. That is the most important thing in life. So if we have 7 days to live, we should try our best so that next life we don't become an animal. So Parikshit, he understood, he could have made, even there was one Kashyapa Muni, he had this power to neutralize the poison of Takshaka. So Parikshit could have gone to Kashyapa and said, you neutralize. But he understood that this is a very serious moment of my life. I should go and look for Guru. Because unless if I get Guru, I will still be in ignorance. I will not know what is my goal of life. So Parikshit, he made his son Janmejaya the king of the earth, and he left, and he went to the banks of the river Jamuna, and he decided to spend the 7 days of his life by fasting and fully meditating on the Lord. He made an asana of kusha grass facing east, and the offshoots of that grass were facing in the opposite direction. And the news spread very fast that Parikshit has given up the kingdom and he has gone on the banks of the Jamuna to realize God. And all the great sages, Narada Muni, Vyasadeva, Bhrigu Muni, Vashishta, Parashara, Atri, Chavana, Parshurama, Bharadwaja, Gautama, Sharadvana, all the great rishis started coming, assembling, because they knew that now Parikshit is the real disciple. With what sincerity Parikshit is going to seek for God. So the real Guru will come searching for the real disciple. When the disciple is sincere, the Guru will come searching for him. Some people, they come and ask, Swamiji, I am searching, I don't find the Guru only. How can I know the Guru? So answer is very simple. If you become sincere, if the dust is covering the iron is removed, then the iron automatically is attracted to the magnet. Right? If the iron is covered by dust, then even if the magnet comes to you, what will happen? It won't get attracted. So if the disciple becomes serious about attaining God, then Krishna will send the Guru. Like Dhruva, he went into the forest, so Krishna sent Narada Muni. So like that, Shukadeva, he spent 12 years in the womb of the mother. We saw yesterday how Shukadeva entered the womb of his mother. For 12 years he was inside the womb. Vyasadeva was requesting him, please come out, please maintain the family, please, you are my son. But he was telling, see father, you are already so much attached to your family and you are telling me to come out. And how will I believe your promise? If I fall into Maya after coming out, no, Vyasadeva said, no, you will not fall into Maya, I will promise. But my dear father, you are already in Maya, how can you promise? So I will not come out. So then Vyasadeva was thinking, how my son will come out? So he went to Dwarka and he requested Krishna, my dear Krishna, please come to Badrikashram and please request my son Shukadeva to come out of the womb. So Krishna came himself. Krishna himself came and he requested Parikshit. He guaranteed Parikshit. He said, Maya is my energy. Mame vai prapadyante Maya me tam. I will see to it that Maya will not touch you. You please come out and please accept the desire of your father. So Parikshit he came out. Shukadeva. He came out. But Vyasadeva knew that when Shukadeva comes out of the womb, he will directly start walking out. He will leave home. So Vyasadeva was very careful. When 12 years when Shukadeva was in the womb, Vyasadeva had instructed Shukadeva about the most intimate secrets of the Bhagavatam. The most divine knowledge of the Bhagavatam was already given to him in the womb. So he had already heard from Shiva, then again he heard in the womb from Vyasadeva. So Shukadeva was fully realized in Bhagavatam. So when he came out, he was already absorbed in Krishna. He just started walking. And he started walking and his father started running after him. Dvaipayano viraha kataraju hava. Oh my dear son, you are my only son. If you leave home, you should get married, you should have children. What will happen to us? He started running after. So he started running after his son, and Shukadeva looked at his father and being very merciful to his father. What did Shukadeva do, He created another Shukadeva. From his body, he created another Shukadeva, and that Shukadeva went home and got married. And lived nicely with his father and his family. And he became a householder, and his daughter Prithvi, she married the king Nipa of the Bharata line. Like that, he carried forward the lineage of Vyasadeva. And the real Shukadeva, he was 12 years of age. When he left his mother's womb, but when he reached Jamuna at the banks when Parikshit was waiting, he was 16 years of age. So 4 years he travelled around the world, and he was so beautiful. His bodily features are described in the Bhagavatam. It is Nagro, the Parimandala. His eyes were like lotus petals, and his bodily color was blackish, just like Lord Krishna. His hands were touching his knees. He was very, very attractive to everyone who looked at him. All auspicious features were on his body. So wherever he went, lot of children, lot of Matajis and lot of other people, the Brahmanas, they were all following him, looking at his beauty. And he was totally oblivious to the external surroundings, and he was walking, fully meditating on Krishna. And when Vyasadeva was running behind Shukadev, then they came to a pond where some ladies were taking bath without clothes. So when Shukadev passed, they did not cover their bodies. But when Vyasadeva running behind passed, they immediately covered their bodies. So everybody was surprised. Why Shukadev passed there and so then they said, you see Vyasadeva, they told Vyasadeva, you are a householder, so you have to discriminate. Whereas Shukadev is Paramahansa. He doesn't discriminate. So we did not feel any shame from him. So in that way, Shukadev was such a great Paramahansa. He was not on the bodily platform at all. He was not wearing any clothes. Digambara. He was very beautiful. He was not attached. One cannot imitate Shukadev, otherwise we will die. We are not fit. We are not Shukadev. So then he reached the banks of Jamuna, and then Parikshit understood. Everyone got up and offered pranam except two people, Vyasadeva and Narad Muni. They did not get up because they were senior to Shukadev. Everyone else offered pranam to Shukadev Goswami, and Shukadev Goswami, Parikshit Maharaj came and humbly folded his hands and fell at the feet of Shukadev and offered him a elevated seat. And assembly of great souls. There Shukadev appeared like a moon among stars, and he started speaking on the Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj said that, my dear Shukadev, just by seeing you, just by remembering you, just by your holy presence, we have all remembered Lord Krishna. So your appearance is certainly the manifestation of Lord Krishna among us. You are the spiritual master of the great sages and the devotees. So please tell me, what is my duty? I have only 7 days to live. Please tell me how I should act in these 7 days, what I should do, what I should not do. Though it was very clear, Parikshit knew what he should do, but still he wanted to make it clear from his guru. Double confirmation, so that there is no risk. For 7 days he can do the right thing. So Shukadev Goswami told Parikshit that, my dear Parikshit, what you have inquired for is actually the topmost goal of human being. Savai pumsan paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshaje. And the great paradharma of all souls you are inquiring about is bhakti yoga. To render bhakti to the Supreme Lord Krishna, that is the topmost activity you should do. Otherwise our day will go in earning money, and the night will go in sleeping. The day will go in making money, maintaining our family, and our life will pass away without doing bhakti yoga. And then the imminent destruction of our death will come. So my dear Parikshit, one should take up bhakti on an urgent basis. One should not waste any time. Our time is very less. How much time we have left to live? People are so much in illusion that they go around their work months and years, but they never think that this is going to end one day. Never think. But fortunately Parikshit was made to think, because he was cursed in advance. But we don't know, so we should be even more serious. Of course, we cannot be even more serious than Parikshit, because Parikshit is the supreme devotee. But we should try to follow in his footsteps. So, in that way, Parikshit Maharaj requested Shukadev to speak the Bhagavatam, and Shukadev Goswami told Parikshit very beautiful instructions he gave to Parikshit. He says, Taravo kim na jivanti, bhastra kim na shashvanti utaha. So trees are also living for thousands of years. What is the quality of life of the tree? There is no quality of life, because the tree cannot ask about Bhagavatam. So we should not live our life as a tree. One may live for hundreds of years, but if one does not hear Bhagavatam, what is the use? That life is just like a tree. Trees are also living, we are also living. Trees are also maintaining themselves, we are also maintaining ourselves. The only difference between human life and tree life or animal life is Bhagavata. Bhagavata Jnana, Bhagavata Bhakti, that only we can understand. So, Ayur Harati Vaipumsan Udyan Astan Chayan Aso. Every day the sun is rising and the sun is setting. One day in our life is becoming less. Who is counting the days? One day is becoming less. Every year our birthday is there. Actually 1 year is becoming less. So you ask how many years you are old. 21 years old. One should ask how many years you have left. One should remind him on his birthday about how many years is left. So, Shukdev Goswami says, Tasyarte kshano nito uttam shloka vartaya. But one who hears Bhagavata, for him every day does not shorten his life. Every day increases his life. You know how? One who hears Bhagavata every day actually increases his life.
Getting eternal life.
Get eternal life in Goloka. So every day we are hearing Bhagavata, one day we are getting billions of years more to live in Goloka. So, what you will do? Will you waste the day or use the day properly? So we have to use the day Uttama Shloka Vartaya. In discussing Lord Krishna, who is known as Uttama Shloka, who is described by beautiful shlokas in the Bhagavatam. In that way. But unfortunately, Shukdev told Parikshit, Svavidvarahostra kharai samstutai purusha pashu saya karna pathopeto yav nama gadagrajah. But unfortunately, people who have the consciousness like animals, like Shukdev Goswami, very strong preacher. He is speaking very strong words to shake us up. Because we are all sleeping, we don't have the desire to worship Krishna. So he said that men who are like dogs, hogs, camels and asses. So strong. Svavid vara hostra kharai. Who wants to become a dog, hog, camel and ass? Nobody wants. Samstutai purushai pashu. Shukdev is saying that when we are in that consciousness, we worship somebody who is also like a dog, hog, camel and ass. Samstutai purushai pashu. A purusha who actually is a pashu. But we don't worship Krishna. So we should become intelligent in this human life. We should worship someone who is eternal, Krishna, who is never going to die, who can always be our friend and our well-wisher, our guide. Then we are intelligent. Otherwise our ears are like snake holes. Vile barotrukam avikramanye. Snake holes are very dangerous. If we put our hand in the snake hole, what will happen? Snake will bite us. Similarly, those ears which don't hear Bhagavata, they are like snake holes. If you death, they are welcoming death. Shrinvata karna pute naras. Jiva dadude keva suta. Nachopagayati urugaya gatha. And if the tongue is not speaking about Bhagavatam, the tongue is not glorifying Lord Krishna, the tongue is like the tongue of the frog. Darut keva. Jiva. Frog. Tra, 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 like that, The frog is doing, with the tongue is outside. So who comes? The snake comes. All the croaking of the frog ultimately results in the snake only. And the snake comes and eats the frog. So if our tongue is not used for Krishna, Krishna Gatha, Krishna Katha and Krishna's name to chant daily, then it is like a frog's tongue. So Shukdev instructed Parikshit very strongly to actually make Parikshit realize how serious Bhakti Yoga, how serious in human life we should take up the worship of the Lord. In that way, after instructing Parikshit about this basic teachings of the Bhagavatam, Parikshit Maharaj asked Shukdev Goswami that please recite the Srimad Bhagavatam. I want to know how Brahma has created this universe, how these material universes have come, and how the Lord plays with His creation. I want to know all that. And the entire universe, my dear, how it is so gigantic and so unique, but still it is the smallest universe in the creation. So please describe to me how this has come forward. And Shukdev Goswami started describing the creation of this material universe. We are moving over to the second canto of Bhagavatam now. Pratham Skanda is Sampurnam. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So Shukdev Goswami informed Parikshit how the original creator of the creation was Brahma. But actually Brahma also is saying that even though I made this creation, I am just like a twinkle twinkle little star. I am just the son of Krishna. The Paramatma, he already created the millions of universes. And within one universe, I am given the energy to create these 14 planetary systems. So I am like a star and he is like the sun. He has already created so many millions of universes. And then he has given me one universe to create further. So I am just an instrument. Brahma is saying, I am not Krishna. He is the supreme controller. Even Brahma is saying, even I am created by Krishna. Some people think Brahma is God because Brahma is the master engineer of this universe. But even Brahma has been created by Krishna. How did Brahma come? Brahma came from the navel of Lord Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. He appeared in the stem of the lotus flower. So even Vishnu has created Brahma. So Brahma's father is also Lord Krishna. And afterwards, Narada Muni instructed Brahma. There was a conversation between both of them. And Narada, yesterday we saw, today also Narada talked with Brahma. And actually the original knowledge which Krishna has given to Brahma at the time of creation, that was given by Brahma to Narada. And Narada spoke the Bhagavata to Vyasa, and Vyasa spoke to Shukdev. So that is how the Parampara system is coming. Our Sampradaya is known as the Brahma Sampradaya because Krishna has given to Brahma the knowledge. In the beginning of creation, when Brahma was created on that navel, Brahma did not know what to create. It was total darkness everywhere in this universe. He was looking here and there, up and down. He was going. It was total darkness. He did not know what to do. He was sitting on the lotus. So he thought, maybe I'll go down. I will know who is my source. So he went down. But still he could not see anything. It was darkness. Then again he came up. And he was feeling very morose. He did not know what is the purpose of my creation. Why am I created? What I have to do? At that time, he was meditating on the Lord and he heard two aksharas in the sky. Tapa, tapa, tapa. He heard. Tapa, only two words. That you do tapasya, you do divine tapasya, then you will come to know your purpose. And you will come to know why this universe is created. So Brahma, he sat on the lotus for 1000 celestial years. That is how many of our years? 365 into 1000 means 3,65,000 years. For 3,65,000 years, Brahma performed tapasya. Nobody can create this creation automatically. One needs to get the mercy of the Lord. We have seen all our great acharyas like Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta, Bhakti Vinod, when they came out for preaching, before that